How are we going?
Hey,
Good to be with you tonight. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, Mike. How are
Fantastic.
you?
I'm good.
Welcome to Clovey Facebook Live. Tonight is about hearing questions and answering questions. So, we are really looking forward as a church to go back to physical gatherings.
That's right.
And tonight is really just a chance to give you guys, if you've got questions about what that might look like, how we're going to do it, kind of share in that space.
Yeah,
But
for
yeah,
sure.
how's your day been, Mike? Has it been
Yeah,
good?
it's been really good. Yeah, thanks so
How was
much.
your dinner?
Yeah, dinner was great. We had
Nice.
had lasagna tonight. Yeah,
Yeah, I thought
yeah,
it
it
was
was
pretty
good.
good
Yeah,
actually.
I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. Yeah, trust that you've all had a nice dinner, or you're eating it now,
Mm,
and you get the privilege of having us come and interrupt it. So apologies about that,
yeah.
if that's the case.
Welcome
But
to dinner time.
yeah, that's right. But it's great to be with you guys tonight. And as Shell's just mentioned, we're going to just have a little chat about re entry
Hmm.
and a return towards physical gatherings, which is going to be on July 5
Which
for
we
us.
are so keen,
Oh,
so
so
excited
keen.
to physically
So
be together.
keen indeed.
And I see
Yeah.
there's a bunch of people jumping on.
Yeah.
And hi, good to see you. And a bunch of people are watching. Hey, Jan and Mel and Dion. And really, anyone, if you, as you're watching now, if you've got a question, just pop it in the comments section. If there's something you're wondering, what is it going to look like, a process, or something you want to ask about the gathering
Yeah.
when we start on the 5th of July, just pop your question in the comments. But my, can you tell us maybe what is it going to look like?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's really interesting. Hey, Anne. Hey, Mel. Great to see you guys. It's really interesting that things can change so fast. And
Mm,
we were with the team on Monday, and on Monday I had this standing meeting with the team, and I said to the team, it's going to be trickier coming out of COVID-19 as what it was going in. In some ways, going in to COVID was really a lot simpler. You know, at the time it didn't feel like that, right? But coming out, there's going to be lots of nuances and changes, and I said to the team, we have to have a lot of grace, and we need to make sure that we create a really safe environment for all. Said that on Monday, and then on Tuesday,
things
things
changed.
changed again. Yeah, and
2020, the year of constant
that's
change,
right.
hey?
And I just want to say before we go into it, hey Sham, nice to see you. And before I get into it, I just want to say the Premier and the state government, along with the federal government, have just done a magnificent job in
Absolutely.
leading us through this. I would not want their roles, right? I just do not envy the amount of
Mm.
information and the decisions that these people are making. So I really want to honour Premier Stephen Marshall and the Chief Medical Officer, Nicole Spurrier, their teams that they've been working with. They've just done an incredible job. So please just give thanks to them and keep praying for them because they've got
Mm.
a lot on their plate for sure. So yeah, so what happened was on Tuesday, the Premier came out and he made a really big adjustment in terms of moving from 1 to 4 square meters in terms of the
So one
density,
person,
one
four square
person,
metres.
4 square meters in terms of what you're allowed in your facility, to 1 to 2 square meters, and that's actually a really big deal.
Mm.
Like when it comes to Clovey, and when it comes to our facility, and particularly around Sunday worship gatherings, that's a really massive deal.
It's a big answer to prayer, really.
We've been praying for
We
this.
have been
Yeah,
praying for
it's
this. That's a
true. Yeah,
huge answer to prayer.
we've been praying for this. I know that many of you that have been on this call with us now, like, you would have been praying for this as well, because really a move to 1 to 2 square meters is a game changer,
Mm.
massive game changer. Because in our auditorium now, we can have 260 people in our auditorium.
So spaced a metre and a half
Yeah,
apart. The chairs are going to be set out a metre and a half
yeah.
apart, but we can have 260 of us physically there worshipping,
Yeah,
being together,
which is awesome
hearing a
because
message together.
we had, no joke, we probably had about 4 to 6 scenarios that
Mm-hmm.
we've been working our way through, and the team's done an amazing job, super resilient in keeping on going there and in that scenario planning. But this by far is the most ideal scenario for us. But
So tonight we want to be able to kind of talk people through what the scenario, what not the scenario, but the reality is going to look like
yeah,
on the 5th of July.
yeah,
So if you've got questions, if you've jumped on, now is your chance to pop it in the comments. If there are things you want to know, what's it going to look like on the 5th of July? How's it all work? But while you're thinking of questions, let's explain the reality is that we have to get tickets, yeah? Now, it's not that we're not making you pay. Church is free. But we actually, due to the fact that the government is requesting contact tracing, we need to actually have the information of every breathing human being, no matter whether you're a baby, a nana, a young man, whatever age you are.
If you got breath,
if you breathe, you matter.
Yeah. But why? Like, this is important.
Yeah.
Why do you need a ticket? The reason behind the ticketing is the contact tracing.
Yeah.
So our responsibility as a church and as an organisation is that we have signed off on being a COVID safe environment. So Clovey is now a COVID safe environment, and part of that is fulfilling the guidelines of the government, and a part of that is around contact tracing. So if there is an outbreak or if there's something that happens and it involves someone at our church and the government comes to us and asks who have they been in contact with, we have a register. We know who's in the building at gatherings at what time. So the ticketing is actually really, really important.
And the other thing with the ticketing, so it's the contact. So we know we've got an email address and a phone number, everyone that actually attends. But we also have our specific numbers. So we do have caps in our room. Being one person per 2 square metres, the auditorium has got a maximum limit of 260, like we said. And so on a 9 a.m, we could have more than that, but we need to actually only seat that many in the auditorium.
Yeah.
So what happens if there's more than 260 at 9 a.m, Mike?
Well, let's just go back a step.
Okay.
So
hold tight.
Yeah, so ticketing is a deal. And if you heard my comms yesterday, I said that without a ticket, you're not able to actually come along into church. So
how do we get the ticket?
So that's the question. How do you get the ticket? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using Eventbrite. And like Michelle said, it's going to be free. But what you're going to need to do is the Monday before. So this coming Monday, which will be the 29th, at 10 a.m, tickets are going to go and be available.
So every Monday at 10 a.m, they'll go live for the following Sunday.
That's right. So every Monday, 10 a.m, tickets go live, and you get them from our website. So clovey.com.au/register. All right.
You can go there now.
Yeah,
it will just say, stay tuned.
It will just say, hi, and I'm here, but I haven't got anything to give you.
So 10 a.m. Monday, you can go there.
Yeah, so 10 a.m. on Monday, and you get your tickets. And like Michelle said, we've got caps on the room. So 260 in the auditorium, and then there are caps on different kids' rooms as well. And what will happen is if we cap out, then tickets won't be available. We'll be sold out. So say if you're used to going to 9, you don't get a ticket to 9. Well, you can go to 11 or you can go to 5. So there will be...
because we are the same church service.
Yeah, exactly.
One church, many gatherings.
Yeah.
9, 11 and 5 will be the same worship, same preacher. Yeah. You're welcome at any of those times.
Well, we've been actually having the same experience for the last 3 months.
Correct.
All right. So in some ways... one of the big words that I want us to keep saying is grateful. We're grateful, and we have a lot of gratitude in our heart that we might even just be allowed in the building again. Yeah. So when July 5 rolls around, we're going to celebrate that. It's going to be great, but you're going to need to have a ticket. And if you come without a ticket, you'll actually be directed to someone who'll be on the welcome desk, and they will actually let you know if there's space or not. And if there's not space, then we'll have overflow in the cafe or in the foyer, or indeed you can grab a coffee and come into the next service if there's space in that. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter if you've been a member of the church for 50 years or if it's your first week. There's no entitlement here. What you'll need is a ticket to come. And Leanne just asked a really great question around, well, let's just say serving.
So if you are on worship team, welcome team, kids min team, if you have a role where you serve and you're on the roster, your ministry leader will have actually registered you as a person in the building. So they have your contact details, and you don't need a ticket if you are serving that week. It has to be that you are live serving. So you can't just go, well, I'm on the team, but I'm not serving this week. You're only going to be counted if you are currently serving. So for example, all our kids min leaders in the rooms, we have a certain number per room that's set aside for those leaders. Their names are against it, and then the rest are accessible for children. Same with the 260 we're allowed in the auditorium. There'll be, say, 20 of that set aside for the worship team, the sound, the lights, the video, preacher, anchor, those things. So if you are serving that week, you don't need to get a ticket. If you're not sure, talk to your ministry leader. Yeah. So follow up with them and just say, hey, make sure you've got me on the list and clarify.
But interesting point of clarification here, like Leanne. Like,
Mm.
so if you're serving in kids at 9 a.m., say, and you want to go along to the 11 a.m.,
Get a
then
ticket for 11.
your ticket will actually be covered at 9 a.m. for kids, but you'll need to get one to be in the auditorium for 11. Okay.
But great question.
Yeah, very, very good question.
I see Sharon's asked, do you have to print off the ticket or can you show the email? Either's fine. If you can print it off, it makes it quicker and easier because the QR code will be scanned. What will happen when you arrive is our welcome team and our kids team will be there, and we'll have 2 places to enter. So kids and families will go in through the hub where there'll be the check-in system set up, because as much as we have to do Eventbrite contact tracing, we still need, for duty of care purpose, to have our kids checked in and have their tags and collection. And then the general admission, those that don't have kids and families, will go through the doors, and there'll be welcome team there with their phones to scan your QR code. So if you print it off, it's quick and easy. But if you need it on your phone, you've got an email, as long as you can get the QR code up, we can scan it. Not a problem at all. So that's an easy way to do it.
Yeah. So interesting. I would encourage you to come early to church.
100%.
All right? Because you can just imagine, like, this is like going to the cinema.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's like going to the cinema, or it's like going
to premiere.
You know, it's like going to a concert or the theatre or something like that, and it's going to take some time. And the other thing we'd ask is that you'd show grace to the team, because we're doing a lot of research behind the scenes, but we haven't done this before. And there's going to be people and volunteers, some who are watching right now, really loved people in the life of our church who are going to be learning this and then helping execute it, I guess you'd say. So yeah, a lot of grace. So my encouragement to you is that you'd be coming early to church. I would say you'd want to get there 15 minutes before, because you might be in a queue. There might be a little bit of time to get in and things like that. All right. Now, you're probably, you know, if you haven't seen people in a while, then, you know, you just might want to stand outside and let the air be on your face, and that might be fun as well. But no, in all seriousness, you want to get there probably 15 minutes ahead of time. Hey, so Jared's put in a question. Great question, Jared. So the reason why, so Jared's question here is, what about people who don't have the internet? And we know that there's a number of people that either don't have the internet or just don't have the skill to actually do this, and it might freak them right out. So we've got our pastoral care team actually sorting out, you know, a number of people who are probably in the older demographic who either don't have the internet or this process might be a little bit beyond them, and they're going to be getting tickets for a certain group of people.
What we've actually recommended you do, if you don't have an access to do that, or you know someone that can't, from a Monday 10 a.m. when we said the tickets go live, just call the church office. So someone at the church office will be there to book a ticket for you. So if you know someone that can't, just suggest they call the church office and do that. However, for the select few that we know doing it tough, our pastoral care will reach out to them and follow them up. But yeah, spread the word. If they can't get an online ticket, call the church office from 10 a.m. on a Monday, and we would love to book a ticket for you or for them or whoever needs it in that way.
Yeah, 100%. So like the take home there is, speak to your Nathan McDuff, pastoral care pastor, if you're in an age group where this is going to be a bit beyond you, and that's okay to call that, it's fine. But if you can come into the church office on a Monday or make a phone call on a Monday, then you can get your ticket that way. All right. But everyone that comes in is going to need a ticket, because if you don't have a ticket, you'll be directed to the welcome desk, and there might be a space, there might not be, but everyone's going to need a ticket. Now, the question then is, what happens if you purchase a ticket and then you don't make it, or
so maybe someone
kids
comes
are
down
sick
in your
or
house,
something like that, you know, what would you do then,
Michelle? What
Michelle?
we would love you to do, even if Sunday morning you wake up or Sunday afternoon and things change and you can't come, then you actually go back to the Eventbrite site and you actually refund your ticket. Now, I know that sounds funny.
Do they get their money back?
Wouldn't you get your free money back?
We'll give you money to refund?
I know it sounds really strange. It's no money refund, but it actually gives us a chance to release that ticket again. So even if on the day something happens and you can't come, please return it, refund it, go back to the website, and you can do that. Follow the Eventbrite process and you can do that so someone else could use it. But if you've just joined, we're looking at the ticket idea that everyone will need a ticket. You go to Eventbrite go to our website, clovey.com.au/register. and you'll find a link to
Just go there now. Go there now.
Get your Eventbrite ticket. Monday 10 a.m. they'll be released. Now, kids and families, you will need to specifically register every child in their kids' rooms, and you know the age group of your kids. If you're not sure, you can always ask questions of your kids. They probably know which room they go to. I went on, had a bit of play with it last night actually, and registered our kids. It does ask that every person has an email and a phone number. Now, if you're like us, our 10-year-old does not have an email and a phone number, but there's a beautiful process on that you can just copy and paste from the adult. So she just had all the same entry as us. But you need to register your children into the rooms they would normally go to. Now, we have got rooms and spaces we should be 100% fine, but if for some reason the room maxes out and your child can't be there, if you choose to, you can actually book them into the auditorium with you. That's absolutely fine as long as you register them in, because there'll be a person on a seat. Or you can come back to 11 a.m. So we're trying our best to make sure we've got space for that. But you need to register every child. And as I said, do need to go through the check-in process like normal.
Malcolm's just asked here, can you purchase multiple tickets with one email address?
Yeah, so what I did last night, I had a bit of a play around with it, and I put down all 5 of us in the family. You just have to, every person does require, this is just for the COVID safe plan that we have a contact tracing for the government. It does require that every person has an email and a mobile, but it doesn't matter if you use the same one. So I used my email mobile for the whole family, knowing that as the mum, I'm happy to answer where they were at any point in time. So you can use the same email and phone number repeated for each person. You just need to have a way for the government to contact. It's part of our requirements as a COVID safe place.
So that kind of works as well. Say, Malcolm, I'm thinking, in terms of other people in your family as well, like if you're looking after the grandkids and, just things like that, they'll need to be registered in on the ticket as well. So
Sharon's asked a question as well about pre-service prayer gatherings in the prayer time. Mike, what are we doing about that at the moment?
Yeah, well, it's a great question, Sharon. And my hope would be, yes, that they'll be coming back in. We already have opened up the prayer room. So the prayer room is opened up and we have prayer meetings already back in there. So the answer to that is it's already happening. So I haven't yet chatted to the people who lead those prayer meetings to see if they have a level of comfort to come back on July 5. But rest assured that as we move into this, that will definitely be occurring. So yeah, the answer to that.
And the main thing, Sharon, would be that, again, you just need to make sure you register, even though you're going to go hopefully to a room to be part of church. Anytime we come to church at the moment, we're having to get people to register. So during the week, if you come for a prayer meeting, you do need to register. There's a book there to fill it in.
Yeah. Hey, Drew Phillips.
Hey, Drew.
How are you? I hope that you're going okay and you're not feeling as sad as I am, because it looks like our crows are going to be wooden spoons this year.
Can we stay on task? I don't want to.
Oh, sorry. All right, stay on task. So Drew was saying earlier in the call that the 2 square meters is a big game changer for us, because now we can have 260 people in the auditorium. So you take off the people who are serving, and then you'll probably have around 240, 245 people who can actually be in the auditorium and participate in worship. So for our 9 o'clock, that's not actually as many. We would need more for that at 9 o'clock. So there will need to be some movement between 9 and 11. And that's gonna be a reality. And there might even be some movement from 9 and 11 to 5. We were talking earlier, we're one church, many gatherings, and we've all been having the same experience for the last 3 months. And that's an awesome thing, because we are one church. So
by movement, you're saying you can go to the 11 or 5 or 9.
100%. Well, actually, what will happen is the ticketing will be part of that. So you might actually look to get a ticket at a certain service, and it might be sold out. So if it's sold out on that service, then there will be an option to sit and watch in the overflow. But if you want to be live in the auditorium, then you're going to have to go for another time from that to be the case. So
where are the overflow if someone would choose to sit in the overflow?
Yeah, so if you wanted to go to the overflow, then that's going to be in the cafe or in the foyer. Once the service has started, there'll be a few chairs that are put out there. But because we can go now that we're 1 to 2 square meters, we have now reconfigured how we'll do kids ministry, and we've just provided a lot more space for the kids ministry as well, which is really important. So this is our best case scenario, because the one that we were working with earlier in the week would have had multiple overflow, only 130 in the auditorium, and live feed into other rooms, where this is amazing. So we just want to honour the Premier and his team. They've been doing a really great job with that. Rebecca's just asked a question. Where do you register? You go to clovey.com.au/register. That's where you go on a Monday at 10 a.m. Tickets will be released
every week
for the following Sunday.
Yeah.
And we're going to be using the free option in Eventbrite. All right. So that's how that's going to work. So you'll familiarise yourself with that soon enough.
In terms of the overflow, Drew, as well, we recognise that trying to get 7-year-olds to social distance is somewhat of a challenge. So actually giving more space to our kids' rooms is really important in this season, where kids need to feel valued and discipled and loved. And the fact that we can have 3 lots of 260 adults across the day is really great. Now, obviously, it's going to look a bit different when we do come into the auditorium. The seats are going to be spaced 1.5 meters apart. And we actually ask that even Mike and I, as husband and wife, we won't move our chairs together. We're going to leave them where they are so they can be used for all the services, for anyone at any time. And that way, someone who has come as a single person doesn't feel like an isolated island. We're going to ask that we all have 1.5 meters apart. We don't move them closer for family. Clearly, if your child sits on your lap, that's fine. But we really want to be able just to spread out and make it feel as normal as possible. And I suppose recognizing it's going to feel weird, you might want to hug, you might want to embrace, you might want to handshake, high five. For the time being, we want to honour and do the right thing and keep the social distancing. So we're trying to say, hey, warm smiles, happy wave, hi, all that kind of thing. For now, let's do the right thing.
Yeah, 100%. And in the auditorium, like Michelle said, we're going to have the seats spread out. There'll be 260 seats in the auditorium. And with that, I know that, some of you, husband and wife, all that sort of stuff, but we just ask for now that that's how that's going to be, and show extra grace, because we're actually going to be back in the building. Amen. So let's remember the bigger picture in that.
Now, Shani and Beck have asked some good questions here. Shani's talking about wondering about it crashing. The good news is, Shani, you've got from 10 a.m. Monday right through till the service. You can book a ticket then and there. So I know internet does some things at different times, but you've got the whole space to do it.
And Shani, you got to remember that we're using a third party. So we're using Eventbrite.
Which is really well set up.
Yeah, and I think they'll deal with the amount of tickets that we're looking at.
But in terms of Beck asking about confidentiality.
But in saying that, Shani, if you have trouble with that, then you can give the church office a call.
Definitely.
And if you're having internet troubles, you can call them, and you can call the church office, and then through the church office, you can book a ticket as well. All right.
Beck's asked a great question about privacy and confidentiality. Your details are not going to be used to sell you anything or on share with anyone at all. It's held by Eventbrite and held by the church. And should we get inquired or asked from a contact tracing point of view, then we pass that on to the government should that be needed. But 100% we respect your confidentiality and privacy. That won't be shared with anyone else. It will just be held for the purpose of that to be a COVID safe place, like anywhere at the moment, we need to honour that.
So part of our responsibility to the government.
Definitely, Beck, we respect that.
Yeah, part of our responsibility to the government is if there is an outbreak and we get asked who is in the building on this date, that's when the government receives that information. But they don't get any of your personal information from that perspective. They'll get a list from Eventbrite, which is printed out and saying this is who's here, as they try and do, the kind of the piecing together of a story if they need to.
Sure.
But that's part of our responsibility back to them. So I trust that makes sense. When you sign up to Eventbrite and you get the tickets, just click. You don't want any promotion for anything. So just be smart. Be smart about that. All right.
Just quickly, in terms of exiting, Shams asked, what's the exit process? We would ask that throughout the time we maintain social distancing, and it would be that once you've collected your children, so all ages, even zone kids, will need to be collected. So you go and get their kids at the door, a leader will bring them to you rather than parents going in the room. And we will ask that you head outside. We'll have our coffee cart there to grab a takeaway coffee. You might want to hang out outdoors. Let's pray for good weather. You might want to head over to the park. You might want to invite a family back to your house. But Quench Cafe as a big cafe won't be open. That's an overflow space.
Yeah.
But takeaway coffees and connecting outside, maintaining social distancing, going to the park, your own home.
Yeah.
That'll be the exit process we encourage at this time.
100%. Yeah, Mike's asked a really good question around Clovey Online. Yeah, so we've got these 2 6-month roles where we're looking at an online campus pastor and a video editor. And these roles, we put them out and we've received applications, which is great. Applications close on Friday. If I'm speaking to someone right now that's interested in that. And over these next 6 months, we're going to go on a journey. We're going to go on a journey with some professional assistants as well to work out what is the strategy for Clovey Online. So there's this concept and idea that we haven't talked a lot about, which is called digital mission. And what does it look like to reach people online? So Mike, you've just named one of the options there. Do we actually want people, and our desire for them is actually to move into the physical location of Modbury North? Well, the answer is maybe. Because we don't know where a lot of these people are coming from, and we also don't know exactly who we are trying to reach yet. So some of those people will be in our local area and they will kind of hang out at Clovey Online. And some experts in this area say that people can be online for 2 years before they make themselves known and before they make their way into your physical building. But they're not disengaged. They're completely engaged and they're learning from Jesus, learning about Jesus from a place where they are comfortable and a place where they feel safe, which is really important. And you need to remember that some people might not ever come into the doors of Modbury North at Clovey, but they'll still be part of our church. And that might be because of reasons around walking into a church building and there's barriers and blockers there. For some, it's health reasons. For some, it's geography. They're going to be part of our church, but they're going to live in a different part of the world. Isn't that exciting? That's like, wow. So we're going to go on this process for the next 6 months to actually work out what our strategy is and what is it that the Lord's asking us to do. It's a bit of a horse and a cart sort of situation, isn't it? Because we probably wouldn't have launched an online campus this way.
COVID did it for us.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But this is where we find ourselves, and there's a lot of momentum, a lot of gospel momentum around this. And I'm really proud of the church council for walking this path, and I'm really excited about the future. So, Micah, I hope that is somewhat of an answer that would satisfy you at this stage.
So we can come and physically gather on July 5, 9, 11 and 5. We can engage at Clovey Online at home. Clovey Kids is going to continue online after our services 9, 11 and 5 until July 26. That's the last Clovey Kids online. As much as a wonderful mission and discipleship opportunity it's been, we just at this point in time, Anne and the team aren't physically able to do live and online, whereas the adults will be live streamed. Kids will go back to just 9 and 11 physical gatherings for kids. So keeping that in mind. And also if you want to invite someone, even though we have a ticketing system, you can invite people.
Yeah,
just get them a ticket.
Yeah, get them a ticket.
Get them a ticket and invite them. We'd love you to still feel you can invite your friends, bring them along. 9, 11 and 5, get them a ticket.
Yeah.
If someone rocks up and they don't have a ticket, they'll go to the info desk and like Mike said earlier, we'll try and find them a ticket or find them another service they can connect in. Sean Boucher has asked, can we gather in the car park? Absolutely. Just stay 1.5 metres apart. You're welcome to gather in the car park. And we would encourage that. If the weather's nice, grab a takeaway coffee, head outside and connect with each other. It's not like you have to, as soon as the last amen is said, bolt out of there. You can be polite and nice and talk to people, but it's just maintaining social distancing and keeping moving would be our encouragement. And you know what? It's a great time to be living in Adelaide. We are so blessed that we can gather again.
Amen.
So we've been talking for quite a while. I wonder if there's any last questions people want to drop in the comments right now. Probably the headlines to remind people is that every Monday at 10 a.m. the tickets will go live. clovey.com.au/register is where you go, and you've got the week to get your tickets. Register any breathing, living human being that you choose to bring. Dogs don't have to be registered, do they, Ian Norman? You don't have to register your dogs. But breathing humans need to. So even a baby, even if it's in your arms, they do need to be registered because they have to be on the contact tracing register. So please get a ticket even for babies. Let's come early to church, be gracious and welcoming.
Right. So Drew's just asked a question here, just asking if there's any special permissions that need to be given from church members. Well, yeah, it's interesting, Drew. So Clovey, our world is changing. So previously we didn't stream our services. We would put our sermons up online. But from July 5, we're going to be streaming. We're going to be online as well as being physical. One thing that we're going to have to get our heads around is it's just not in the room that we are in. We're one church, many gatherings. In some ways, one church, many rooms. And we're going to get used to that. It's going to be really exciting as we pursue the digital mission aspect of this as well. So yeah, so actually a lot of church members already, Drew, have given permission for that in terms of the privacy and in terms of being photographed and things like that. And we'll need to work through that, particularly for people being baptized and people maybe doing other things. It's just going to become part of our regular and normal rhythm that what is done on stage is actually going out into the world. So for, the worship team, they're going to get used to the camera could be on them at any time. For us as communicators, we're going to get used to speaking to the room and also speaking to the camera. There's a lot of opportunity and a lot of stretch in that for all of us. And then when we have special moments like interviews and things like that, all of that will go through the grid of it. Just isn't for the room, but it's also online as well. So yeah, Drew, that's part of our new reality.
And like we've done in this season, anyone that we have had in a Zoom interview, we've got their permission to broadcast that, to stream that. So we would, absolutely check in and ask people.
100%. Well, guys, last call for one last question.
I think just to remind people as well, if things don't make sense, if you're not sure, you're welcome to call the church office to ask for help. You can email your ministry leaders if you're not sure what's happening in that way. If you have special needs, like you want the hearing aid loop, there are going to be seats set up for hearing aid loop. You can request that. We want to help you feel comfortable to come with your ticket, either print it out or on your device, to be able to scan that and enter in church, to be gracious together, but to actually just be together, worshiping the King, learning together and be community. So even though it will feel different. Yeah,
praise God that we can be in it together and we can walk and work this through together. So like Michelle said, there's going to be times when we need to show some extra grace. There's going to be some upskilling. There's going to be some learning. But let's choose community. Let's choose community. Don't step away now, church. Let's choose it. Let's step in and let's push through this together so that we can continue to move into all that God has for us. All right.
We're excited because this Sunday will be online. But it's our birthday, so maybe have some cake or chocolate ready with you to celebrate.
Come on.
Online this Sunday. Hey, look, last two questions just jumped in. The 1 per 2 square metre to expect to be a capacity. Sean, we've said that the auditorium is 260 people at that capacity. So what that means is over the course of the day, 9, 11, 5, we can fit our adults in. Our 9 a.m., some may want to choose to come to 11 or 5 or sit in the overflow in the cafe or the foyer. And yes, Beck, tickets are assigned to rooms. So when you go online, you will actually find that you can choose to be in the auditorium. You can choose to be in the overflow. You can choose to be a child in the child's room, but Beck, you're not in that room.
Yeah, Beck can't be in that room.
So you can choose the room. The seats itself are not allocated unless you have requested the hearing aid loop, in which case that will be allocated. Or if there are needs, you just talk to one of the leaders, call the church office. So.
Yeah. We want to work with you, and we want to make this work together. Okay, so
we'll learn together. It's fun.
So we'll learn together. But one of the most important things that you need to hear, so please hear this: if there's something that you need,
ask us, please.
Okay, ask. All right, because we need to be in high communication, and we're trying our best to be in communication with you. And we hope that if there's something that we've missed or something that has been overlooked, it's not personal.
Yeah, let us know. We care about you.
It's just that there's 1,000 other things that we're working on. So put it into the grid and let's be in it together. Yeah. And then while we're all in it together, we're actually going to come out with more solutions. And we're going to be better for it because we've journeyed through it together.
And we're going to have some great memories of 2020.
2020. All right. Bless you guys.
Have a great night. See you Sunday, Clovey Online.
Thanks for all the love. And we'll see you, Clovey, online this Sunday. And we're looking forward to celebrating our 53rd anniversary. All right. 100%. Bless you guys.
Bye.
All right, bye for now.